Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the ASK checklist to evaluate a website to determine if it's a good one to use to answer your health questions. So today I'm going to be asking a nutrition question. And my question is, how much food should teens eat in order to stay healthy? Now, I think that I've found a good website to help me answer this question. The website is called teenshealth.org. And the article I'm going to be evaluating is called How Much Food Should I Eat? Here's what the website looks like. So I'm going to be walking you through the Ask checklist to figure out if this is a good website to use to answer the specific question that I have. Okay, everybody. So before we get started evaluating the Teens Health website, I wanted to point out one big difference between this checklist that I'm using and the one that you have in front of you for taking notes. So you may notice already that on your page, you only have one column here for each section in the Ask checklist. As you see, I have two columns. The column on the left is where you'll see all of the questions for the Ask checklist. And the column on the right is a place for me to take notes and provide evidence of each of these checklist questions. So I'm going to show you how to do that, how to take notes and provide evidence to back yourself up and justify your answers. But for now, you're just taking notes on what you see me doing. Eventually, you'll get a copy of this type of checklist when you're asked to evaluate websites, and you'll have to take notes and provide evidence over here. I just wanted to point out why those two worksheets are a little bit different between the one you have in front of you and the one you see on my screen. So now that we've taken care of that, let's get started evaluating this website. We're going to start with the first category in the Ask checklist, which is all about accessibility. How accessible is this information and how easy is it to use? The first question under accessibility is the website organized and easy to use? This is kind of a personal opinion question because what makes something easy to use will vary from person to person, but there are a few things to look out for. First of all, what I notice on the Teens Health website, across the top, there are tabs so you can choose the right audience for you. So if I'm a parent and I'm wondering about information to answer questions I have about my kids, I might click on the For Parents tab. If I'm a younger student, these articles will be written more for me. You all would be looking at the Teens tab, information more specific to teens and written in your language. And then for me, an educator, there's an entire website that gives me some resources as well. So that's kind of a nice way to organize their site. The other thing that I like to look for is a search tab. So if I can open this up, my question that I'm wondering is, how much food should I eat? And you can see it pops right up. The search tab, the search box, is a really nice feature to look for on a website because then you can ask your specific question. So the results that I'm seeing, the very first one is the exact same question I just asked. So I'm going to click on that one. Now within the article itself, there are a few other organizational tools that help make a website and an article easy to use. One thing that I like to look for is it organized into sections or segments rather than just one big blob of text? That helps me know what this section is going to be talking about. So this first section is talking about how portions might be out of control in our world nowadays. This next section is talking about how to figure out serving sizes more accurately. The next section is telling us what might be recommended in order to eat healthy, and so on and so forth. So these sections with headings or titles are a really great way to help you as the reader stay organized and know what to expect in the text below it. So I see those throughout this article, which is really nice. Another way that you might check for at accessibility number 1 to see if it's organized and easy to use. I noticed that you can change the font size. So if I'm somebody that might have a hard time seeing, um, then I might be able to change the font to make it a little bit larger and easy to read. And then the other feature here is that I can listen to it. So if I like to learn by listening, that's an option for me. I can just click right on it and it will read the article to me word by word. This doesn't apply to me because I don't speak Spanish, but if I were a Spanish speaker and that was a better language for me to learn than English, I can translate it into Spanish and read it there. So now that I've taken a look to see how well this website is organized, I'm going to go back to my checklist. And what I've already done is taken some notes. So I'm going to give this one a check mark. I think that yes, check. This website is organized and easy to use. There are tabs at the top that help me choose an audience. So for me, in this case, I'm pretending to be a teenager. There's a tab just for teens. There's the search bar option. The article itself has sections with headings to let me know what the next section is going to be about, so I can easily find the information I'm looking for. And to make it easier to use, I can make the font size larger or smaller, or I can listen to the article as well. So this one gets a check mark. The next question in accessibility is the information easy for someone like you to read and understand? So for this exercise, I'm pretending that I'm a teenager, and the first thing I would have to do in order to tell if I can read and understand what's written is read it. You have to read a little bit of the article to see if it's written in a way that you can understand it. So I'm just going to read the first couple of paragraphs and see if there's anything in there that is really jumping out at me as above my reading level or about a topic that I just don't have enough knowledge about yet. So I'm going to read it aloud, but I won't read the whole article to you right now. The title was called How Much Food Should I Eat? First section is Portion Distortion. People today eat way more than they used to and way more than they need to. This means that they're constantly taking in more calories than their bodies can burn. Unfortunately, lots of us don't realize that we're eating too much because we've become so used to seeing and eating large portions. People who consistently overeat are likely to become overweight. They also risk getting a number of medical problems, including high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, bone and joint problems, breathing and sleeping problems, and even depression. Later in life, people who are overweight or obese are at greater risk for heart disease, heart failure, and stroke. It's easy to understand why the food industry tends to serve way more food than is necessary. Customers love to feel like they're getting the best value for their money. But the value meal is no deal when it triples our calories and sets the stage for health problems. So what can you do to take back control? A good place to start is knowing about two things that can help you eat smart: serving sizes and recommended amounts of different foods. So I'm going to stop there, but you may want to read a little bit more when you're evaluating a website. And right away, I can tell that if I'm a teenager, this is written in a way that's pretty teenage friendly. There's not a ton of information in here, or words that are that the average teenager wouldn't have heard of before. What I also see throughout the article is if there's anything that a teenager may not be familiar with or may not really know, you can click on the link and learn a little bit more about it, or it may even define or explain it. So if there's any uncommon words or confusing terminology, the website sometimes explains what those are, which is a good feature. So if I go back to my checklist, is the information easy for someone like me to read and understand? I would give this one a check mark. And my justification, my evidence for that, I'm saying that yes, it does pass this question because it seems to be written for teens in teen-friendly language. It does a nice job of explaining words that I may not see a whole lot in my day-to-day life. But I do want to note that I do have to read the whole article and think carefully about the information in order to figure out the answer to my question. So, just in figuring out whether it's easy for me to read and understand, I haven't really answered the question yet, but I can tell that this might be worth pursuing because I'm going to be able to understand what it says. So for accessibility, we've got 2 check marks, which is great. So the next section of our ask checklist is about situations. Is this a website that's going to be right for my situation?